There he is.
Hi, Aaron.
Hey, how are you, sir?
I'm all right. Oh, this time difference things does my head in.
Oh, it's fine. I just hate. Oh, I love it. You got a Grimlock back there and an Optimus Prime? Very cool.
Yeah, yeah,
Grimlock, the TIE Fighter.
yeah. A few bits.
That's so cool. I'm gonna unhinge this for a second, and hopefully you can
Okay.
see this correctly. So
Oh wow.
over there, you see this big display. There's a big giant Skyfire back there.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah.
Megatron and a Soundwave and an Optimus and Terminator and
There's Xenomorph.
yeah, a bunch of stuff. And there's a whole bunch of Lord of the Rings craft. That's the inspiration shelf. So, and actually, if I go like this,
that's very inspirational.
there's the M41A pulse rifle, and right now I'm working on an M56 smart gun belonging to Vasquez from Aliens.
Oh, brilliant! So you made the pulse rifle?
No, I actually bought it, but I needed to put I needed to paint the adios on it, and the grip, the trigger on the back is similar to a motorcycle brake,
right?
And that's the trigger that she depresses, but there's no spring attaching it, so it just hangs limply,
Right.
And so I'm trying to attach it to a forward mount so that with a spring, so I can actually get some squeezing there and not have it feel like a toy. No live rounds, but just anyway.
That's great. Well, welcome back to Sci-Fi Fans.
Yeah, it's good to be back. How have you been?
Really busy. Had a few things changed my job and stuff. It just kind of took over my life.
Don't they always do that?
Yeah, I know. But it's coming to an end, actually. I'm looking at being made redundant soon. So I'm hoping that will give me the impetus to get my books out there and I can concentrate on things like the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
And all
it's so funny. We're in the same situation over here. I mean, it's a crazy economy, and voiceovers continue to go like this. But luckily, I'm the voice of United Healthcare right now, so that provides a lot of work and a lot of payment and big payments and residuals throughout the year. So that funds the authoring dream, which is great. But I don't know for how long, so we'll see.
Yeah, because AI's advanced so much since we last spoke, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I am guilty of using it myself because it's, as a one-man band, it's cost effective for what I need. But I am swaying away from it. I'm doing a lot of the narration on my books myself because what you don't get with AI is that personal touch, that human touch. And I think when you're trying to connect with an audience, the connection with the audience for me, I'm putting that first in an affordable way that I can manage.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've only used AI for like idea generation, and that was Grok. And I used it twice, and I wasn't really impressed. Actually, the current series, the Talisman series that I'm working on, I came up with some ideas in Grok, none of which I liked. I just was like, that it's not fleshed out yet, I grant you. So some of this stuff, you're not going to get everything. But as I'm going through it, I'm going, no. And then I finally, I said, put this on hold. I went back and I did my own thing, and it just hit me. This is the main character in this book is a continuation of a character in Dissonance. Right. So instantly, and actually even before I had that revelation, I was coming up with just my own ideas, and they were so much better than what Grok offered.
Yeah.
But boy, when I decided that this was going to be a character's continuing odyssey from Dissonance, it was like and like just my excitement level just it shot through the roof. So I'm really stoked.
Yeah, great. So last time we spoke, you had the Distant Vol 1 that was being released. So you just want to kind of reintroduce the series of books that you're working on to the audience who might not have seen that interview, and just kind of where you started off and where you're at to now.
Yeah. In fact, I'm gonna grab a prop real quick since this is
Okay,
video.
then.
It's
No,
right around
that's
the corner. It's another all-in-one version of my next series that I created, and
right.
then that way I can show that too. Uh,
That
but
is
yeah, do you want me to just give a brief intro and say I'm the author of this and that and hold them up and stuff?
yeah. So that the people watching or listening just they get an idea for who you are and what book it is you're currently working on.
Cool. Well, my name's Aaron Ryan, and it's good to be back here. I was here at some point early in 2024 and was working on a series called Dissonance that I think at the time I really intended to be a trilogy, and that was it. But it since grew. It totally evolved and demanded more storytelling. It's now a hexalogy. So Dissonance is a 6-book series that I then actually had all encompassed into a single volume as well. So this book, this novel is the thing that is like going to be probably referred to as my hallmark, crowning achievement, my pride and joy. Dissonance is 6 novels. I created in a single all-in-one paperback and hardcover that has all 6 in here. And then I finished that in November of 2024 with volume 4, which is actually the 6th installment. Crazy numbering thing. And then I set to work on Forecast, a 9/11 historical fiction novel. But my next series was and is a Christian dystopian saga called The End. A madman literally thinks he's the Antichrist of Revelation in the year 2113. He has Christians secretly branded on the backs of their necks under the guise of a census, and he's hunting them down. So it's almost like a second Holocaust.
Right.
But that's The End, and that's my next baby that just turned out so good. And published and wrote a few. The Slide is a disaster fiction novel. Forecast is a 9/11 historical fiction thriller. The Phoenix Experiment, which I just released this past Saturday, is a paranormal dark fantasy young adult fiction novel. It actually just hit bestseller in teen and young adult apocalyptic and post-apocalyptic ebooks yesterday. Number 1.
Nice.
And now I'm working on a brand new series called the Talisman series. So keep him busy.
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of looked back on our last interview, and Dissonance Volume 1 was literally just being released, and you've just totally exploded, haven't you, with the book?
Have.
So is the Distance? So that's now finished. Yeah, 6 volumes, 1 book.
Yeah, people have asked. I wasn't going to write. I was going to write the trilogy and then a singular prequel. Well, the singular prequel actually finishes 5 years prior to the very first installment that I wrote. So there was that gap that I needed to fill, bridging this to this.
Yeah.
And then I thought I was done, but I've got a buddy who was basically just a rabid Dissonance fan. And he said, you have to write a sequel. You left volume 3 wide open in terms of a door at the end there.
Yeah.
So you better write a sequel. And so I caved, and boy, volume 4 turned out to be wonderful. So that effectively made it a 6-book series. I am done. People have asked, are there going to be any more? No, but there is a character who is very prominent in the Dissonance series who shows up in other books.
Right.
So she is my, John Grisham likes to use a Denton Voiles character, and he migrates through all of his different books.
Yeah.
Well, I've got Senora Rosie Campion, and she is making her trek through all my other books. But the Talisman series is also going to incorporate a spin-off for a character who was very pivotal in Dissonance. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, yeah, it's just blown my mind, Aaron. I thought we'd be talking about a trilogy complete. You've doubled that. You've done something else. Where'd you get the time?
Well, back behind me, you'll see a voiceover booth that is not in use. And it actually is not in use at the moment. But actually, voiceovers are a really... they're kind of on shaky ground. It's a wonderful career, and it has been a wonderful career, but it's really been on shaky ground by virtue of AI, number 1, lowballing clients, underbidding colleagues, the SAG-AFTRA strike, the economy has really dropped the pay scale for jobs and the quality of jobs that are out there. So quantity and quality are being impacted. And I've seen long-standing relationships with great clients I've worked with forever that either they've been replaced by AI or they are now using an AI voice instead
Yeah.
of me. And so it's hurt. It's really like we've seen our income erode. We've seen our busyness, erode. Thank God for United Healthcare. It's been a godsend that's provided a lot of repeat work.
Yeah.
But due to the fact that work has been lessened, that puts me right back at the desk typing and creating and marketing and doing a lot of stories. So plus I type really fast and that helps.
Have you tried, as a technique, dictating the story first? So
I've tried it. Windows, this is a Windows machine, and Windows, I can't remember the software that actually does it. It's not exactly stellar.
yeah.
It does work, but there's so many errors. And I find that I'm having to go back and edit those and redo them. I just prefer to type it, and then I'm going to correct an error in real time, and then go from there.
Okay, I mean, you've literally answered a couple of questions already, because obviously I was going to catch up. So you've given us a brief history introduction. You've told me what you've done since last time. The Dissonance, that's just expanded.
Big time.
So if someone was to approach and find your books, where would they find your books to have a read? Are you on Amazon and the usuals?
Yeah, the usual. So basically, authoraaronryan.com. I think I was misunderstood so many times when I originally said that, and people heard awful Aaron Ryan. So I actually went ahead and just bought awful Aaron Ryan on a lark, and it forwards to author Aaron Ryan. So you go to awful or author Aaron Ryan, you're going to land on my site. And then I've got some other sites. The Talisman one isn't up yet. It's reserved, but I don't have anything there. But alienssaga.com or getthesebooks.com or dissonancetheseries.com is my Dissonance saga. And then thisisnottheend.com is my Christian dystopian series site as well.
Right.
All of those, can be linked to from the author or awful Aaron Ryan .com site though.
I think that's one thing that you develop as a creator is a decent sense of humor. That you need it, don't you, to get yourself through the doubt and the amount of people that will give you negativity and try to turn them into a positive. And I like what you've done with the awful Ryan.
It was fun. It was like almost inevitable. Wasn't awfulaaronryan.com. I have to so enunciate when people say, where can people find you? Authoraaronryan.com, not awful Aaron Ryan. But to seriously address that, I think one of the things I found to be most depressing as an author is the inordinate amount of spam you get from crappy, shady marketers that are all experts. All of them are experts. And, I get about anywhere between 15 and 30 emails a day from these scammers. You block their email address, they come up with another one. And if it's not a marketer, it's a web designer. If it's not a web designer, it's a video trailer maker.
Yeah.
They all claim to be experts, but man, they're relentless, and it's so nauseating. I love / hate really the emails that say, "Dear author, I loved your book," generic, no title listed.
Yeah.
Even better is the ones where they say, "Dear Mary Jo, I loved your book, The Flower Butterfly," and I'm like, man, you can't even get my name or my book right. It's so pathetic and despicable. So reaching out.
Yeah. So what inspires you? I noticed when we spoke last time, it was Lord of the Rings was is the pinnacle book for you, and I think Aliens is the pinnacle sci-fi. So, has anything else inspired you since?
Well, you can turn around and you can look at Optimus Prime or Grimlock right behind you, and those are tremendously inspiring to me. I showed you my inspiration board over here. I'm big time inspired by Lord of the Rings, Aliens, Transformers. I think though, we're watching the Super Bowl commercial, or the Super Bowl rather, this last February, and the commercial came on for A Quiet Place, the trailer for A Quiet Place Day One. I'm pretty sure that was this year, and instantly I thought, oh my gosh, someone's stolen my book. and made it into a movie. So obviously Alien Invasion, you're going to draw some natural parallels, but I am really inspired by the movies and how they did those, and how the creatures are so terrifying, and how you're just hamstrung. You have to be absolutely quiet. That's inspired me, kind of in a reverse engineering, because I already wrote the books. I get inspired by so many things. I get inspired by each new idea for a book. I get inspired when I walk into my shop and I see these all stacked up. There's several copies of them, and they're for retail, and they do go off the shelves. They don't just sit there. But it's so nice to know that this is what I get to do.
Yeah.
And whether or not voiceovers continues or doesn't, I love being a dual storyteller, because I can tell their stories and bring them to life with this voice. Or I can tell my own, which are far more satisfying. One is exceptionally lucrative, or at least was. That's voiceovers. One is not nearly, but is starting to really pad that bottom line.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful to just walk into my shop. I get inspired every day. I walk into my shop and look at everything that God's allowed me to create and partake of, and go, this is mine. I mean, I'm so privileged.
Yeah.
So
how do you handle the promotion and the publicity? I mean, obviously it's great to have you here. So what other things do you do to promote your book? How do you find your audience?
Yeah, it's such a great question. I do a ton. You have to be a creative marketer as a creative. And one of the best bits of advice that I think I stumbled upon after our interview was, and I wish I could remember her name, because it is an author, and I think she's an influencer as well. She said, if you want to get better at marketing, stop marketing. Instead, be an enthusiast. And I just went, I had to wrap my head around it for a minute, but she's absolutely right. Marketing, people love to buy and they hate to be sold. Marketing is, you're twisting their arm and you should buy this, it's so great. Rather than, as opposed to an enthusiast, is someone who's just like, look at this. This is such a great story, and I was so glad I was given this. I love the characters in here. I love the storyline. I love this, and I'm so grateful for both of these. And without a mention of you should buy them, people hitch their wagon to my enthusiasm.
Yeah.
And they're not being strong-armed into a sale. They just can appreciate how enthusiastic I am about this, and perhaps they can be, equally or enthused about it as well. So enthusiasm really carries. It's contagious.
So with when you're writing and creating, I sometimes base a lot of things on personal experiences and stuff.
Yeah.
How does your personal experiences, how have they influenced you with the characters that you've created?
Oh my gosh. Well, so one of the books that came to light pursuant to our interview is the first prequel to the Dissonance series. It's called Dissonance Volume 0 Revelation. Right. And I channeled a lot of our own family into the characters in that book. So Andrew Shipley, who is the father of Cameron Shipley, the protagonist of the Dissonance series, it's told from Andrew's perspective, and I channeled a lot of me into him. I channeled a lot of my wife into Melissa, his wife. I channeled a lot of my son Brennan, my 9-year-old, into Cameron as a 6-year-old, and channeled a lot of my then 3-year-old Asher. I'm going back in time now, into Ruddy, who was 3 in that book. And so it's very reflective. I mean, some of the routines they do around the dinner table, and the silly dad jokes, and the bedtime routines, and the exchanges that they have are very representative of our own family.
Yeah.
I think, I'm a natural cynic, and so there's a good dose of cynicism that's expressed by any of my protagonists in any of my stories. If it's told from a first-person perspective and you're inside their head, you're going to see inside Aaron's head.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. And I think that's probably true of many authors. If they're going to write first person, they're going to channel some of themselves into it. I think it's just it's an honest way of writing.
Yeah, fair enough. Is there any topics? Because something that probably word this in a way that's without it being controversial, but it's a controversial topic anyway, and that's freedom of speech. So, I mean, in the UK, we've got, despite what our wonderful, benevolent government are telling us, we've got a real drastic problem with free speech in this country. Are you worried that when you write something that a small minority might look at what you've written and take it very personally? Like we've had the instance with the Father Ted writer. Now, that is a categorically, he is having a spat with somebody of a particular community. But I think it highlights how easy somebody can be offended by what you write. Are you becoming more conscious of what you write, or do you not care?
Am I becoming more conscious? I think so. Here's a case in point. As I was fleshing out the character of Jasper in the End series, he's an elderly African American man who lives by himself. He's he's got a real quaint personality to him, and he's talking very similar to you just be trusting the Lord, Sage, that don't make no never mind. He talks like that. And it's very representative of perhaps back in slavery days. Yeah. Now, this is just who he is, and some people do grow up that way. And so, like, I think it was in To Kill a Mockingbird, Atticus, some of the ways he was saying or talking, some of the characters were talking, I forget who it was. It's very representative of that time and who that person is. I want them to be an honest caricature. It's not a slant on African Americans whatsoever. It just happens to be representative of who this person is. Yeah. Was I conscious that it might be offensive as I wrote it? Yes. In fact, at least one of the reviews that I've gotten for the series kind of hit on that a little bit and said, this is offensive, or I don't like this, or this is a caricature. Yeah. It's just their opinion. Yeah. I've mentioned Trump in I know who's that. I've mentioned him in my Dissonance series, and I'm no Trump supporter. I'm no Trump fan. So, but I know that some of my readers are. Yeah. So I'm trying to walk a very fine line and not be too disparaging, but also express some cynicism through the eyes of my character going, I don't trust him. Yeah. Who trusts any politician anyway, though, Exactly. So, and there's matters of faith. I'm not going to shy away from matters of faith. In terms of Dissonance, 85% of mankind has been killed off. What do you have left but hope and faith to get out of that situation? Yeah. So it's a strong element of the book, but that doesn't mean people are going to like it. And it does mean, unfortunately, that they're going to say, yeah, Christianity, blech, and they're going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Yeah. I don't care. It's just, that's who I am. I have to write who I am.
Do you find, though, it seems to be the smaller groups have the louder voices? And something that I find now you might not have noticed this in America, but if I was to watch Aliens on Sky in the UK, it comes with a trigger warning. And I think to myself, what is in that film that is possibly going to trigger somebody? And the only thing that I can think of is there's a scene where Sigourney Weaver is smoking a cigarette. So I think do you think we've become too sensitized to differences? And sometimes we just need to grow a bit of a backbone and say, well, actually, no, everybody's different. You don't do things intentionally to upset or offend, but I can't control how you feel.
Yeah. No, we're a society of snowflakes. And I think that it's really sad that everything is offensive to somebody. It's just so... you shouldn't have to tippy-toe and, dance around all this stuff and be all, hypersensitive about offending somebody. So you offend someone. I will never include a trigger warning. I mean, I hope I will never include a trigger warning. I don't ever intend to, because some of these things may offend. Oh, well, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Yeah. And, if I, Forecast is a 9/11 historical fiction thriller. Even today, it's still a polarizing, incendiary topic. 9/11. And so this was my way of incorporating a catharsis in my story where 9/11 is completely undone. Yeah. Nonetheless, the story deals largely with 9/11. And so people will find that offensive. Well, don't read the book then. I mean, you try to be clear on the cover and the log line and the synopsis, what it's about. If you are reading a book about 9/11 and you didn't know it was about 9/11, then you didn't read the synopsis, before you bought the book about 9/11. That's not my fault.
Yeah, because it's difficult, isn't it? I mean, I can like reference Huckleberry Finn is a book of its time, and yet it's being judged by modern standards. And I think as an author, you're losing the point. You can lose your own mind if you try and judge today's standards and what we consider to be acceptable to what they were when books were written in the 1800s. So, and who knows what we write today, 50, 60 years time could happen to us. Like, oh no, don't read this book. It's got this about, as you say, Trump, you know.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
no, absolutely. I think that, the Confederate statues that were pulled down in the U.S. over the past few years because they are quote unquote offensive to somebody. I get it, but it's an attempt to erase the past rather than learn from it, and I think that's really shameful. You can look at something and go, I can learn from this. There are marks that I've left on my wall because I am no craftsman. I've tried to install a curtain rod, and I drill in the wrong place, and I short out all the power to the city of Olympia. And I'm not that kind of homebody. I need to hire a fix to fix the fix that I fixed. And it's terrible, but I can still see those marks on the wall.
Yeah.
And I can learn from that and go, that's a lesson to me. It's a reminder to me that I should have done something else. When I left the toxic online voiceover community in the spring of 2023, I ventured into music.
Right.
I didn't fail. I mean, I loved it. I created some great music, but it just didn't sell. It's hard to sell CDs anymore anyway.
Yeah.
When I walk into the shop out here, there's an area that has all of these leftover CDs. And I have to kind of cringe a little bit and go, I would have loved to have sold those. But I can also learn from it and go, that's a memory that I choose not to discard. That's a lesson that I can take and say, don't produce so many next time. I can learn from it and I can take lessons and be better, not erase it.
So if you had a time machine and you could go back in time, would you say to a younger Aaron author or awful Aaron?
I would say, write this story about hobbits and elves and dwarves, and they go to this place called Mordor to get rid of this ring, and there's Sauron and Gandalf and Aragorn and everybody. Write that book because you're going to make a trillionaire. Or write this story about kids who are forced to put their name in a drawing if they accept extra food, and they have to fight to the death in an arena every year. And there's a President Snow and there's a Katniss Everdeen. Write that story too, because you're gonna be a trillionaire. That's what I would do if I knew, then what I know now. I would also say start earlier because I drug my feet too long with various other pursuits.
Yeah.
And no harm, no foul. I appreciate them, i.e. music, but start earlier and get into the system sooner because books aren't everybody's cup of tea, but I love writing, and I just wish I would have started earlier. I'm 52. I don't look or act it, but I would have loved to have started earlier and kind of gotten a jump on the gun.
So what do you consider to be your biggest achievement as a writer?
It's definitely Dissonance. I would say that Forecast was the most cathartic. I wept during Forecast to see it all undone. 9/11 is still very profound and impactful to me to this day. And I'm not going to, trigger warn it away or erase it away. We can learn from it. And I'm certainly not going to conspiracy theory it away. Those guys drive me crazy. But Forecast was definitely the most cathartic. But Dissonance, I just put so much research, so much heart into it, and I'm so grateful for how it turned out. They've all been bestsellers.
Yeah.
Volume 1, I think maybe since we talked, Volume 1 has been adapted for the screen. It's actively being pitched to streaming networks right now. Yeah. We have a fourth meeting with a major studio. I'm not going to say who it is, but it is absolutely MAJOR major. You've seen their logos before, major epic movies.
Yeah.
And it's every author's dream to see their movie on the screen.
That is.
So there's something robust in that story that people like, and it resonates, and it's grounded in reality. I'm so grateful for how it turned out.
So a question I think people would like to know, as an author, how have you got to the stage where it's possible going into production? Was it like J.K. Rowling, just by chance someone found your book and went to a producer and said, make this into a film? Or did you reach out to film companies and say, I've got this idea?
No, some people are natural blondes. I'm a natural cynic. I received an email from an assistant to a Hollywood affiliated screenwriter. And so we found your book. We'd like to adapt it to screen. We do all the marketing for you. This is his name, and here he is. And I did my due diligence. I vetted him. He's on IMDb. He is a Hollywood fellow. He did win an award for his screenplay that was put on by Gail Ann Hurd, the ex-wife of James Cameron. I know who's that. And so I did my research on him. And the price was commensurate with what an official screenplay and treatment and character Bible and all that stuff would cost. It's right in the middle of the ranges I found. So I was skeptical, but he offered to do a Zoom meeting, which is something that a scammer won't do. They're just going to hide behind email. And he was very collaborative. But he did reach out to me, which, all the scammers reach out to you, so you got to do your due diligence. So it was kind of accidental, but boy, large chunk of change to have this done. I don't regret a single dollar of it, because the collaborative process of him and I writing the screenplay together, well, him writing it and then sharing what he wrote with me, he made two major changes I did not agree with, and I told him so, and he undid those. And he's actively out there marketing it. So it was an accident, but what a blessed accident, man. I'm so grateful.
That's really good. And you've kind of answered one of my follow-up questions, which was going to be, how much influence have you had with the script? So you kind of answered that by saying that you changed some bits. So I'm really rooting for you. I think this is a really good prospect for you to have. And well done.
Thank you.
That's really cool.
Thank you so much.
If I send you a copy of my book, you can, hey.
That's the hard thing, is that I'm naturally a supportive person, and I will rave to everybody about Alan and say he's such a great guy, and I've loved working with him and blah, blah, blah. And he's actually, it's not like he's trying to control the narrative, but he's trying to control the flow of affirmation, because it does tend to send a lot of authors his way whose works, they're not going to look good on screen. And I don't know that. I don't know everyone's book, but he can't choose everything, and he can only write one screenplay and pitch that screenplay like at a time. So I feel so bad every time I go on. I like, hey, Alan's great. You should hire Alan. He's like, can you not say that? And I'm like, oh, I keep doing it though. I'm hard-headed.
No, that's fine. I mean, I've something that I've got into over the last couple of months is Blender, which is a animation software, and what I'm trying to do myself is basically turn my stories and that into short films with Blender.
Very cool.
Because I forget which writer it was. There was a quote, and I forget who said this, but they said about the industry, if you're trying to break into the writing industry, don't. What you need to do is have the mindset of rather than break into the industry, become a company or an industry that they want to take over. So and I've been focusing on thinking, well, I'd love the adaptation, but if I can have my own publishing industry and my own production company, I can then become a company within the industry that might be bought out. Or someone pays attention.
No, that's very cool. One of the coolest things that's come out of this whole process is I was so excited about him adapting that to screen that I actually got I partnered with somebody, and I got The End Volume 1 Alpha adapted to screen as well.
Right.
So
Right.
this one, the first one, has been adapted
Yeah.
to screen, and I've entered that into about 10 different film festivals.
Right.
And it's one entrance into 4 already on filmfreeway.com, and it's won two awards so far. So, and that's gotten me an IMDb page and credit, and I'm like, I'm on IMDb. It's so crazy. Things are very different than last year, Wayne. It's things have grown, and I'm excited.
I'm really pleased for you. But you're not going to be the next George R.R. Martin, though, are you? You're not going to keep people waiting indefinitely for the final chapter.
No. However long they take to produce it is really up to them, because there's a lot involved in that once they greenlight a script. It'll be a few years, but no, one of the things that I really pride myself on is being accessible and attainable. So, I love doing vendor markets and getting out there and hosting a booth and sharing my stories with people and meeting the readers face to face. Absolutely love that. I want them to buy the books, of course, but I love being able to get out there and share these stories and why they mean so much to me. It's so cool.
No, it is. And your passion comes through when you talk about them. And I think you can tell when someone's passionate and they really have the enthusiasm. I can tell.
That's the word.
It's there. You've got it. It comes across.
That's the word.
So clear that
that's the word. Don't be a marketer. Be an enthusiast. You just hit on it.
Yeah. That comes across. That's probably something that I need to practice on. I just get a bit shy. What's the book about? It's alien invasion. Oh, what, like every other one?
Oh no. It doesn't resonate with everybody, man. When I start talking about the Gorgons and what they can do to you, it's an indisputable fact of the series that the Gorgons are just they're macabre, they're predatorial, they're barbaric. And so, gosh, when I get older women, especially when they come to my booth and then, what's your book about? And I start talking about the Gorgons. Oh no, and they just walk away, and I'm like, okay, bye, thanks for stopping by.
Do you go up and down the States for these book conventions?
No, they're mainly just in Washington.
Right.
Yeah, I have. Where did my pictures go? I think the pictures are actually out there now. I have a 9 and a 6-year-old son, and I want to be home with my wife and them.
Yeah.
So a lot of traveling right now isn't in the cards.
Right. I get that. Okay then. Is there anything you'd like to say so we can before we wrap up, or?
Yeah. Well, one thing that's
run through. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's one thing that's become really important to me. Every book carries all your hopes. Every book released carries all of your hopes, all of your dreams and your desires for people to love it as much as you do. They never will. You just hope that it'll be, halfway as successful as out there as it is in your heart. And so it's hard. You can struggle with, whether you struggle with imposter syndrome or analysis paralysis or the rejection that you're going to feel when people aren't buying your book or you get a negative review or whatever. All those things are all valid. They're totally legit concerns. But here's a phrase I was given by an old agent of mine, and she's an entrepreneur. She said, someone's endorsement of you or lack thereof has very little to do with your trajectory. I absolutely love that phrase, because that's kind of it's kind of a Forrest Gump, don't care what they're saying, don't care about all these things falling off of you. You are running. And that's your goal. Your trajectory is forward. Your goal is becoming a successful author. So, yes, people are going to say negative reviews. Who cares? Yes, people aren't going to buy your books at times. Who cares? Yes, people aren't going to love your stories as much as you do. Who cares? Just, if this is your goal and if this is your desire, your trajectory, those endorsements or lack thereof have nothing to do with it. So, man, adopt that phrase. Someone's endorsement of you or lack thereof has very little to do with your trajectory. It's been such a paramount phrase for me in my life.
Yeah, and I love your T-shirt as well.
Oh yeah, I should. I always wear these for the interviews. I'll hold it up so people can actually read it. This is one of probably 30 different
Yeah.
T-shirts I have. You go out in public and people go, oh, I love your shirt. Are you an author? And I'm like, why, yes, I am. It's a conversation starter. So there you go.
No, that's great. No, and just mention again where people can find your books.
Yes,
Like,
awfulaaronryan.com. AuthorAaronRyan.com. You can also just go straight to Amazon and you can enter, Dissonance Aaron Ryan, or The End Aaron Ryan, or The Phoenix Experiment Aaron Ryan, whatever you want. And but AuthorAaronRyan.com will take you to all those links.
I'll include. I will include links.
Yeah, I want to add one more too. By the way, I forgot to add. There is an exclusive Facebook group that I have called. It's just the Author Aaron Ryan group. And you can go to authoraaronryangroup.com, and that will forward you to the Facebook group. You can find discount codes, giveaways, news about the screenplays, upcoming appearances, whatever. And there's no scammers, no spammers in that group, and you get first dibs on discounts and stuff. So there you go.
There you go. Great. Yeah, I'll check online and I'll link that as well in the description below. So thank you so much for getting back in touch, Aaron. I appreciate it. And
it's good to talk to you, fellow author.
Yeah, thank you. Soon to be film director, producer, game maker.
That's right. That's your trajectory. That's right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm learning game maker as well, so I'm going for the spectrum, and I've got ideas on how to incorporate. I see it as a triangle. You've got the fire triangle where you need fuel, air, and something else. And I'm looking at it that way, that each one will feed the other.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, it's going to happen in the next 18 months.
Very cool, Wayne. That's awesome.
This interview.
Well,
so no, I'm really, as I say, really grateful you got back in touch and said, could you come on? I was thinking about you over the last couple of weeks. I think with my own situation, I was thinking, well, I wonder how the people that I have spoken to over the last year or so, how they're getting on. So thank you for the catch up and the update.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me. I always appreciate it. Thank you, Wayne.
No, that's brilliant. Thank you. And we'll have to do this again, maybe in 6 months' time, or when you've got a little bit of news. What other social media platforms do you use, just out of interest? Are you on TikTok?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to be.
Yeah.
Man, I want to do all my own marketing, but I'm not the best social media guy. So for the very first time, I hired a gentleman. He's in India. He is a podcaster.
Yeah.
And he had me on, and something happened with the recording where we needed to actually redo the whole interview. Like the recording got corrupted. Right. So I'm grateful because I went back to him, did the second interview, and then at the end of that, he tells me, hey, by the way, and he's put out some great marketing stuff for me lately.
Yeah.
He puts it on TikTok, Threads, Twitter, X, Facebook page, Instagram, YouTube. I put it on LinkedIn because you can't post. I'm in the USA, and if he tries to post to my LinkedIn from India, LinkedIn will get shut down. There's some new kind of like real secure policy in place.
Yeah.
But yeah, he puts it everywhere, and I'm getting more traction now than I ever have. So I'm grateful.
So would you do a TikTok live with me at some point?
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be great. I do have TikTok, and I do post on it here and there.
That's fine. Then I think we can. I mean, have you watched any recent sci-fi? Have you seen the latest Alien show?
I've not seen it. I want to, but I'm not sure. I just don't want to be disappointed. We're gonna see. I'm a nostalgic by nature, so we watch all these movies that we captured in our Plex library over and over again. Right. I am gonna see. What did I just see? We are gonna see The Long Walk next week, which is not. It's not necessarily science fiction, but I think the last one that we watched was The Fly. I watched The Fly, the old Jeff Goldblum one. I don't think they redid it since then. I know that's a remake of an original one in the 60s or something.
Yeah.
I think that was the last sci-fi movie I watched. I have watched The Hunger Games though as well recently. Anyway.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, we'll keep in touch, and yeah, I'll because again, work just took over. I went from being a carer to an assistant manager, and yeah, it just went nuts.
Crazy. Good.
The home's shutting down now, so kind of I won't be having that job for much longer.
That's the economy right now.
Focus on the books. Well, it's an opportunity. That's how I'm looking at it.
It could be a blessing in disguise. Yeah, absolutely.
It could be. So, yeah. Anything else before we go then, Aaron?
Yeah, I'm so grateful and excited to be an author. I'm refreshing Amazon, all the time, for the Phoenix experiment, but I'm going to recommend something that this designer comes from the UK. It's an app called, it used to be called KDP Champ. It's actually called Publisher Champ now because they probably had a complaint, like maybe even a lawsuit. You can't call it KDP. That's our name.
Yeah.
But Publisher Champ is a great app for tracking all your sales across all platforms, including audiobook platforms.
Yeah.
It's a yearly subscription, but that's my favorite notification. I'll show you. So if it shows up here, well, so I've got a bunch of different ones, and to make sure none of these notifications are incendiary, but or private. But if you can see this one right here, it says one paid unit.
Yeah.
So that's a sale of my book, and most likely probably the Phoenix experiment. But man, last night I ran a whole bunch of promos that all hit yesterday. And so I sold 113 books yesterday. The lion's share was the Phoenix experiment. And then 18 so far today because of these promos that I'm running.
Yeah.
Oh, I love those notifications. As an author, it's like Pavlov's dog. Ding!
Okay. Right. I will check that out. And I'll be in touch with TikTok. I think just to go live in general chit chat, bit of promotion as well.
Cool.
But no, it's a lonely thing being an author. I just want somebody to talk to that understands.
I know. I'm in two lonely careers. How lonely do you think it gets in there?
Yeah. Like, I threatened the wife with buying one just so I can keep it quiet. It's like, shh, I'm recording. Sorry, Daddy.
See, exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on board again. And I'll be in touch, and perhaps we can do a TikTok live at some point. And I will figure out these time differences.
They're crazy. Yeah, I know. I appreciate it.
Thank you. No, thank you so much, Aaron.
Yeah, you too.
Hope your dad's all right.
Thank you. Yeah, he's doing better.
And I'll be in touch. So.
Okay, sounds good. Take care.
Thank you. Cheers, and well done. Really.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Yeah, I'm grateful.
No worries.
See ya.
See ya.